Every so often, there's a UFC main event that makes you think about every breath you take. It gives you butterflies as if you were competing that night, and every second that ticks off the clock feels like an eternity. Tonight was one of those nights. Before we look at the main event, we'll talk about a few fights on the card. First being Sean O'Malley taking on Thomas Almeida. Now this was an interesting one. O'Malley won by third round KO, but this fight was kind of all over the place and sort of linear at the same time. Sean O'Malley, this was an interesting spot for him, coming off his first loss. He says he's undefeated. He lost, doesn't matter. And Thomas Almeida was kind of once in O'Malley's position, right? Undefeated bantamweight prospect, got knocked out by Cody Garbrandt, and the rest is history. So 4 straight losses, just kind of a tough stretch in his career. O'Malley looked crisp, everything was sharp. He used all 8 tools, mixed up the head, body, leg. But it was weird. He started really aggressive and was feinting like crazy. I don't know how anyone could fight that guy. You never know what's going to come. Almeida took a nasty wheel kick from Sean in the face, right on the chin. Somehow was staggered, and Sean walked away, tried to get the walk-off KO. Almeida recovered. That might have been a big mistake, but he was all right. Second round, kind of stagnant. Third round came, and of course, O'Malley lands a short left. Again, just destroys Almeida. Went for the walk-off. Referee says no. And then casually, O'Malley walks up, throws his... I don't even know what you call it. I want to call it like a Superman ground punch, even though that's not a thing. But he just jumped and threw a punch, trying to get Almeida out of there. Pretty much put him through the canvas. That's how hard it was. Got him out of there and actually finally got the KO. Afterwards, talks about how he's just trying to put on a show for the fans. And he answered a lot of questions, I think. I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in because it's kind of like a lose-lose. Like, people love to hate this guy for fair reasons. No, they're not fair. People just hate this guy. He either loses the fight or he wins, but he beat a guy on a 4-fight losing streak. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But overall, great performance. His leg durability, which was in question before, I guess held up. He was eating some leg kicks. Obviously one of the best strikers in the division and deserves a step up in competition next. The co-main event had another unique story, with Tyron Woodley taking on Vicente Luque. Obviously Woodley, after losing his belts, he's lost 15 straight rounds, been dominated by Usman, Burns, and of course Colby. Taking on Luque, he's won 9 out of 10 and looks really good, like an up-and-coming guy in that division. Luque ended up submitting T. Wood in the first round, and the way we got there is nothing, just crazy. Of course, the issue with Woodley in the past since losing his belt is he can't pull the trigger. He's not aggressive enough. He kind of relies on the one-punch knockout power, but never throws the punch. He spoke about this before. He was letting his camp lead. He said, "I've been a driver for too long. I'm not going to be the passenger." And you could really see the difference. Woodley came out super aggressive, instantly wrestled up against the cage. Positions got reversed. He ended up throwing some bombs. And this weird fight-ending sequence where both guys squabbled each other. Woodley got Luque right behind the ear and went for the kill. Obviously, he was just looping those punches. It's been a while since he's been in a position to go for the kill. Luque recovered, obviously, because it was just the equilibrium a little bit messed up. And, of course, knocked T. Wood down. And, wow, it was like the classic Bambi look. He just could not get his legs about him. He kept getting punched. And, of course, the Darce choke, which was something Woodley knows very much about. He got him in the end. It was up against the cage. He didn't have a lot of place to move, and Luque ended up submitting him, and that's tough. This is probably the end of the line for T. Wood. Last fight in the UFC contract. That's 4 in a row he lost. This one looked like the T. Wood that, not everyone, but definitely myself kind of fell in love with back when he was knocking out Robbie Lawler and, of course, Josh Koscheck. That was one of the best knockouts ever. Tough way for Woodley to go out, but at least he did go out on the shield. Went out with a nice $50K bonus. If this is really the end, it's been a great career. And Luque definitely deserves a step up here. Only fight he lost was that Wonder Boy fight. I don't know if they want to run it back. That's a possibility, but great co-main event. And of course, the main event, as John Anik likes to say, the man whom this card was built around. Stipe Miocic defending his heavyweight title against Francis Ngannou 2. If you remember the first, it didn't go Francis' way. Tonight, different story. He got the second round KO to become the new heavyweight champ. Now, I heard an interesting analogy before this fight. Francis is trying to sprint where Stipe is trying to make Francis run a marathon. And if you look back to that first bout in 2018, that's exactly what happened. Stipe took some shots early, took everything Francis had, survived, and dominated him over 4.5 rounds. Francis not patient at all, just going for the kill. He was blazing through everyone. He thought he could do the same to Stipe, gassed out, and had nothing to do with the wrestling. And it was kind of an interesting thought here because, I mean, after that, Francis had the Derek Lewis fight that, we don't even count that as a fight. But he's had 4 wins since 4 first-round knockouts, and he's had like a combined time of like 2.5 minutes or 3.5 minutes or something like that. So who's to say if his cardio's improved, his wrestling's improved? He brought Usman into camp with him, so that's obviously a good sign. And this, like I mentioned in the intro, this is the fight where you have to watch every second. You get so anxious that you actually feel the butterflies in your stomach as if you're, facing that Ford F-150 or whatever that Francis is. And another thing to come into this fight, Stipe was pretty light, 234, about 30 pounds lighter than Francis, and you could really see he was going for the speed. It didn't work out for him tonight. Right at the start, Stipe took the first shot, no problem. I think everyone, including Francis, was probably like, okay, here we go again. But he stayed so patient. You could tell everything he failed on, all the negative things in that first bout. He practiced them, he worked on them, and he changed it around. Takedown defense was spot on. Scrambling was spot on. He was shooting takedowns. He wasn't going for the kill. He was throwing nice leg kicks, the calf kicks, the body kicks, the head kicks. Crazy. The second round came. Francis caught Stipe, dropped him. Somehow he recovered. And I guess Stipe threw a punch and thought, hey, maybe I could capitalize on this. Ran into the fight. Francis caught him, put him away, and another one of those O'Malley punches. But, 135 versus 265, a lot different, and actually put Stipe through the ground. And that's it, man. Like, tough for Stipe. I don't know what his future is going to hold, but Francis, he's going to be a superstar now, right? 3rd African champ. The story he has about how he escaped Cameroon to Europe and everything that goes with that. And the more important thing is how damn good he looked, right? He has that ridiculous power, but what do you do when he starts stuffing takedowns? Gonna have a lot of trouble. And logical choices for him, well, I mean, the logical choice is Derek Lewis too. He's the top heavyweight contender, but John Jones didn't move to heavyweight for no reason, right? That's gonna be a tough fight for Jones. I don't know who's gonna win that. It was funny afterwards though. They asked Dana in the press conference, and he said after that fight Jones should move to 185. He doesn't want any of that smoke. I doubt that. I'm excited for that fight. That could possibly be one of the biggest fights in heavyweight history, but it seems like the next fight is always the biggest fight. So great evening for Francis, tough for Stipe, but we move. Well, if you made it this far, thanks a lot for watching. Somehow we are close to 200 subscribers. When I'm recording this, we're at 199, so if you're one of those 199 people, shout out to you. That's incredible. I didn't think we'd get this far in this short amount of time, so that's awesome. Great night of fights. Next one coming up, we're back with fans. I think on my channel I've only recorded one video when there was fans in the stands. Not that makes any difference whatsoever, but it's a cool little thought. So we got Usman Masvidal 2, Weili Zhang, and Rose, and of course Valentina Andrade. Stay tuned for that one. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.